Breaking news tonight out of Maine, where a move by the Secretary of State has made Maine the first state to officially remove Donald Trump from the ballot on 14th Amendment grounds. In a ruling just moments ago, Secretary of State Sheena Bellows writes, quote, specifically, I find that the declaration on his consent form is false because he is not qualified to hold office of the president under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Bellows added, I conclude that the record establishes that Mr. Trump, over the course of several months and culminating on January 6, 2021, used a false narrative of election fraud to inflame his supporters and direct them to the Capitol to prevent certification of the 2020 election and the peaceful transfer of power.
So here we go again, and now we're with Maine. And there's a hell of a lot of other states, and I'll put that up in a second, that are trying to do this same thing. And this Secretary of State, this Sheena Bellows, I believe is how you say her name, there's no need for a court case, a hearing, a jury, a trial. There's none of that stuff. She is just going to conclude right there on the screen as he read it off. I conclude. She's going to say, I have the authority. A couple people were telling me about it. I'm going to take him off of the ballot. This comes right after the whole decision with Colorado, which now the Secretary of State there, Griswold, now she's backpedaling now. Now she's saying, okay, I'll honor having his name on the ballot now. This is all about being unconstitutional. This is no different than Smokey Joe Biden saying, listen, I'm going to forgive all this student loans. This is what I'm going to do when I'm elected. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, even though all of these things are unconstitutional. But by the time I'm in office, it will be too late by then to show you that I played every last one of you. That's why you're seeing all this stuff. And some people forgot, it wasn't that long ago where you had the New Mexico governor. What did she say? Oh, all these private citizens, people in public, you're not going to be able to carry a firearm anymore. I just figure it's too dangerous, so this is what we're going to do. Luckily, you had some sheriffs and all that stood up against it, and they piped that down really quick. They're just overreaching, and what they want the other side to do, the Republican side, is to do the same thing. Then we get into this cat and mouse game to where the whole Constitution is just null and void. That's what they want. That's why they keep doing these same measures, and they just move an inch, then they back up just a little bit. They move in it. That's what this is all about. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't like the Constitution. They want to get rid of the Constitution. That's why they want to pack the Supreme Court. That's why they have all these unconstitutional matters. They don't care about freedom of speech. You saw that what they do with Google, with Twitter, with all of these companies before. They don't care about none of that stuff. All they care about is controlling and suppressing people. And people are finally wising up and seeing it for what it really is. And luckily, you have people like the Representative John Andrews who moved immediately to impeach this crazy woman just right off the bat in Maine. This is how you need to fight fire with fire. Like I was saying before, they want to play that same game mode, then remove Joe off, and they want to blur the lines. No, impeach and get rid of these people completely. They want to be lawless like this. You need to get rid of them.
Again, I am so mindful, and I said this in my decision, that it is unprecedented. No Secretary of State has ever deprived a presidential candidate of ballot access based on Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. But no presidential candidate has ever engaged in insurrection and been disqualified under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.
And then even Trump posted up on True Social the last time they tried to remove somebody off the ballot. Who would that be? Abraham Lincoln. That goes to show you history never changes. It repeats itself. And that's what they want. They cannot stand the rule of law. They don't care about any of that stuff. And all of these court cases are not going to happen. And they know that. This is all about gumming up the works. I talked about in the video before. They want the Supreme Court to rule on this stuff with Colorado, Maine, and all these other places. I'll put the map up of all of these places trying to ban Trump from the ballot. They want to hurry up and force feed it and force push it through to the Supreme Court so they can say, hey, okay, you ruled on that. Now rule on this Jack Smith case. We need to get this court case rolling. Even though some of the people don't realize in the real world, in the court case, especially one of this magnitude, you have millions and millions of documents, which is discovery, which the defense gets gets to look at. They get to look at all of this stuff in totality. Then you have appeals, you want to put this stuff into evidence, you want to remove this stuff, initiate this. All of those processes have to go forward. That's why a lot of these things takes years to resolve or even to get started. They know that. They just start indicting them and putting all these 91 felonies that people be turned off, and it had the opposite effect. Now they're moving to option B, and then there'll be option C. They're not going to stop. It's going to keep on. You can see all those states that are trying to do the exact same thing. They're trying anything to stop this man. They don't care if it's unconstitutional, because they do not care about the Constitution. When everybody realizes that all of these things that they do makes complete sense. But at the end of the day, they know none of these things, including the trials, the court cases, the lawsuits, none of this stuff holds any kind of water. That's not what it's about. They'll stretch the law, they'll break the law, they'll completely ignore the law to get their way. And that's what you're seeing. And all these people just fall in line. There's no mistake that it happens one after another. They just initiate one thing, and then they have the rest of the goons flood in. Same thing with all the lawsuits and the indictment. It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact playbook that they're using. You saw the same thing in 2016 with the law, he doesn't pay his taxes, he's a Russian spy. It's the same lipstick, just on a different pig. They're showing you their exact hand. They're showing you what they're all about. They want to stop this man at anything, and that's what's going to get scary. Once it's to the point where they realize none of these court cases are going to go through, that's when they're going to escalate, and that's when things can get out of hand real quickly. So you just got to pay attention and make sure you stay prepared with these crazy people. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next one.